Hi, this is Chef Don Derry. Welcome to Chef Don Derry's Culinary Conversations. We're doing a new episode. Our episode tonight, we are doing Mediterranean-based foods. And actually, these are snacks that we'll be doing. We're doing two particular dishes, kind of made in the same fashion, but two different flavor profiles. We're doing a classic hummus made out of chickpeas, or known as Garbanzo beans. They're made with tahini, which is crushed sesame seeds, which is a real thick mixture. And we're using Goya brand, so shout out to Goya. And we're going to be using some fresh cumin seeds that we're going to toast, and then we're going to grind up in a pedestal and mortar. We have kosher salt, coarse grind black pepper, and this big container here is Greek olive oil. If you ever had good olive oil, if you don't get it from Italy, if you're doing Mediterranean cuisine, Greek olive oil is the thing to use. And we're also using fresh squeezed lemon juice. It has some fresh lemons here. We have cayenne pepper that's going to go in the babaganoush, and we have some paprika that's going to go in the hummus. And speaking of the babaganoush, we're going to be using fresh eggplant. When you're doing babaganoush, a lot of people do it in the oven because it's actually supposed to be char grilled. We actually have the eggplant roasting on top of the stove top. It's getting a little brown. Since we cut it in half, we want to make sure all flesh sides are brown. So we're going to stand it up and let all those areas get brown. But while that's cooking and roasting over the stove, we're going to start on our hummus. Very simple recipe. Garbanzo beans are native to the Middle East as well as Italy. They have a lot of fiber inside of them. Some good plant-based protein, especially if you want to get more vegetables and plants in your life, or if you're looking at going into a vegetarian-based diet. So in this bowl here, we had about approximately 3 cups. I have a small processor, so we're going to cut this in half, but I use about 1.5 cups so far, but this bowl did have 3 cups of chickpeas. Now they did come in liquid, and I have the liquid put to the side right here. Be sure, don't throw the liquid away. You're going to end up using the liquid to cream your chickpeas along with the tahini, along with the cumin and the paprika and lemon juice with a touch of salt to make it creamy and make it actually a dip, to make it actually hummus. So we have our chickpeas here. We have some fresh cumin seeds dried. Earlier we toasted them on the stove top, and I got this new little device from the store, a wooden pestle and mortar, and I was able to grind cumin seeds after I got finished roasting them. And I'll tell you, when it comes to spices, you can take a look. When you could grind your own spices or your own herbs, I wish you could smell this intense, wonderful aroma here. So I have my toasted cumin seeds and I have the toasted ground cumin seeds here. So we're going to start with wet first, especially when we're doing hummus. So we're going to start with approximately about 3 ounces of the liquid from the garbanzo beans in a can. Don't throw it away. Next, we're going to start with about 1 ounce of lemon juice. Now, mind you, we can always add more, but if you add everything in now, it'll be tough. You probably have to open another can of chickpeas and you'll have a nice big bowl of hummus. But we're just going to proceed with small amounts since I have a very small food processor. Next, we're going to add our olive oil. We're going to add about 3 tablespoons. And this olive oil smells wonderful. Okay? And then we're going to add with a little salt, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Don't need much salt because the salt is already in the chickpeas. Okay? And then we're going to add just a touch of paprika, about 1/2 teaspoon. Now, mind you, we can add more, but we're just going to get this started. All right, just those simple ingredients. We got everything plugged up. We're going to go on high. top it. And the one thing you want to do is have a spoon or a small plastic spatula. You want to just kind of twirl things around and push the chickpeas that didn't get ground up, push them to the bottom, because you don't want any lumps in your hummus. Now, mind you, this is not considered a dip. People eat this as an entree, okay? So get dip out of your mind. This is a main part of the meal, and you're going to see how it looks when we put it all together at the very end. You have to judge by the texture. In the texture here, you see everything is ground up, but we still need some more liquid to make it a nice, smooth, creamy consistency. So we're just going to add just a little more olive oil. So we're going to end up using about close to about a quarter cup of olive oil. We already have the lemon juice part in that. We already have the salt in that. We're going to add just maybe another ounce of the liquid from the garbanzo beans. Moving pretty good. You want a nice swirl. All right, we're gonna give a taste. Then we'll go back to our eggplant so you can see how it's looking. See this consistency? We want a nice, smooth consistency, okay? We're almost there. I can taste the olive oil. Now we have to season a little more with the salt. To put our cumin, that's what we're missing. So now's the time, since we got it creamed, we're going to add our cumin, some more of our paprika, and a little more salt. We're getting a nice char, and this is what we want. Actual dark, black, or brown. This is perfect. Now we're going to just turn it over so this will get the same roasted. We want all the flesh. That is perfect. We want all the flesh to be roasted. We're going to let that go for another 10 or 12 minutes. We'll drop everything down with the skin side down and finish it in the oven on broil for about 15 minutes. All right, so now we're adding our spices to finish off this. We have some fresh roasted ground cumin. One of the most important things we have is garlic. You gotta have garlic. And then we have some paprika. So we're gonna blend all this up. See this consistency? The main thing, you want to make sure all of the beans are pureed. Add a little enhancement of flavor, get it started, and then finish it with the flavor. And that is just what we want. Now it could be a tad more thicker. Now mind you, I didn't use all of the beans, but it could be a tad more thicker, but you want a nice, smooth, creamy consistency. It's just like with a certain soup, like a dish, no lumps. Well, with hummus, you don't want any lumps or bits or pieces of garbanzos. You want everything smooth. Now, some people say, well, how does the garbanzo beans taste so good? And sometimes I've had, and other times it doesn't. Well, I'll give you one little tidbit of information. Garbanzo beans are best worked with when they're room temperature, not cold, not hot. So if you want to get dry beans and cook them, you can, but I suggest the most viable ways of doing it is using canned chickpeas. But if you want to be adventurous and take dry garbanzo beans and soak them overnight and then cook them gently for about 30 to 45 minutes and then drain it, you get a better flavor. Our eggplant's just about ready to go in the oven. We got a nice char on all sides of the skin. So now we can go face down. The olive oil has been absorbed. Take a look. That's what we want, a nice cooked eggplant. Just like that. That is perfect. Having a party and you have friends coming over, these two items will be good starters. And they'll know this is not store-bought, that you took out of a plastic container or you got from a window counter. This is freshly made. So we're putting it right in the oven. We're going to let this go for about 15 to 20 minutes on broil. right, so this is tahini by this company, Tahini. I came across them in a food show earlier this year and got some of their products. They do falafel. They do all type of Mediterranean products, but they have a nice falafel mix. So we're going to use this tahini, about maybe a nice tablespoon. The tahini will bind the chickpeas together with the spices. Now the coloration is going to look a little different than what you see in a store because we're using fresh ground roasted cumin seeds. And as you see, that tahini is going to just bring everything together and make a nice, creamy, smooth consistency. Tahini is almost like the Mediterranean peanut butter or nut butter, if you will, because it's basically sesame seeds that's been ground up. Where you have sesame oil, sesame seeds. I knew you knew that. We got it all together, and we're going to take it. I had to make 2 batches. And you know me, I scrape everything out. We want to utilize everything. Nothing is wasted in the kitchen. So we have our finished eggplant. This is what we want. Nice, blackened, charred, skin wilted down. Every part of the skin is still hot. And what we're going to do is take a spoon and we're going to scrape all the flesh out, including the char part. We're going to use that in the babaganoush. Now you may say, oh, it's going to taste burnt. It's not. It's going to be very flavorful. To give you some background on eggplant. Eggplant is a underrated vegetable, not utilized a lot, but in this recipe here, eggplant prevents infection, cleans the blood, has a very high fiber content. So we're going to utilize all of this precious eggplant. Now, if you want to be a die-hard person like myself, you can just throw this whole skin in if you like. But know that your eggplant, the baba ganoush, is going to look very dark. So look at this. We are just basically scraping all the flesh out and the skin comes right out. Now I have gloves on because it's very hot. Just for my safety. And this is what we want. And don't be afraid if you get a little skin in it. All it is going to do is make it much better. And I was speaking about eggplant. Eggplant, it improves your skin quality as well as low in calories. And is heart healthy. It protects the heart and the precious arteries that pump blood to the heart. Now, if you don't know much about the meaning of eggplant, or not so much eggplant, of the dish baba ganoush, which is comprised mainly of eggplant. Baba in Middle Eastern culture means father, and ganoush means spoiled. So I guess the derivative is spoiled father. In some cultures, they say uncle always knows best, but here, baba ganoush, meaning spoiled father. And when you roast it like this, you see it's easy for the skin just to come off because we want all of the flesh. Right, so we have our roasted charred eggplant here that we've taken all the skin off, and we're going to do 2 batches. So I got gloves on because it's a little messy. We're going to put half of this in. And we're going to do the same process as we did the hummus, for us blending it together with the liquid as well as the dry ingredients. And if you remember, we're using the same similar base items. We're going to first start with tahini. As you know, I started with 2 medium eggplants. We're doing it in half batches. And we're going to start with about a whopping make that 2 tablespoons of tahini. Using minced garlic and oil, but you could use roasted, gives it much more flavor. We added about a half a tablespoon in that. 4 ounces of lemon juice, about 1 ounce. The olive oil, we're gonna add about 1 ounce. Use some salt, about a half a teaspoon. And we're gonna use some pepper. Now, one thing you wanna remember, when we made the chickpeas, no pepper in it. We used the paprika as the pepper aspect. Now, the difference between the hummus recipe and the babaganoush also is we're using cayenne pepper in the babaganoush, but we only use paprika in the hummus. So this cayenne pepper, we want to use about a little less than a quarter teaspoon for right now, because we want it to have just a little spice to it. You can use crushed red pepper flakes as well, but be careful. Measure out your very fragrant hot spices. So I think we got everything in there. Oh, forgot. Gotta have cumin. And this precious cumin has to go in there. That's about a half a tablespoon. Lock and load. Here we go. Same process as we did with the hummus. We're gonna take a spoon and we're just gonna pat down what's at the top to make sure it gets pureed and whipped. Now this is gonna have a little texture. Now the babaganoush could have a little more rough texture. You're not trying to make it as smooth because this is actually a vegetable, eggplant. Not to say chickpeas are not a vegetable, they're in the legume family. But you just take a look at this right here. This is what we want, a nice consistency, not wet at all, but a nice thickness where it can hold up on a spoon, almost like oatmeal. Little tip for the day. Hey, so we have our finished product here. We have some lovely hummus right here that we made. Has a little olive oil accented with a little paprika, with some fresh oregano from my wife's herb garden. And then we have our very own traditional babaganoush, or spoiled father. We have it with the same thing, some Greek extra virgin olive oil, sprinkled with cayenne pepper, some cilantro leaves. We have some whole wheat pita as well as some regular pita. And we just kind of put a duo of both of these on a plate here. And we'll just pour just a little drizzle of the Greek extra virgin olive oil on there. And I'm gonna eat from this right here. I'm gonna go with the whole wheat and taste it. I got it cut in triangles, so you just kind of fold it. I like that. Very good. I'm gonna get some of the plain pita with the hummus. The music fits right in. I like both of them. So here you go. These could be used as a starter. You can make this on a Friday night and have it for the weekend. And guess what? You don't have to go get a brand from the store. Make it fresh at home. We have a special, very, very special show this evening, and it's entitled Mediterranean Pasta Salad. And I got a special person that's gonna take over this show. I'm gonna get behind the camera and we're gonna have our conversation, our real culinary conversation. My first guest, this particular guest I've known for 29 years, been married for 28.5 years. And let me tell you, she has enriched my life in so many wonderful ways. My wife, Jillisa Jones-Craven, she's gonna feature one of her awesome Mediterranean pasta salad dishes. So please receive her, get ready to learn some tips and how she makes this salad. Jillisa, come on up.
Hi everyone, I'm glad to be here. A little shy about being on camera, but I just want to share some great tips on how to make a pasta salad and that is not easy. Whatever you have in the house is what you can use to make it scrumptious for your family. So normally when I make it, I have cucumber and black olives to go along with it. Today I'm going to do something a little different, and I'm going to put some broccoli inside our salad. What we have here are red peppers, roasted red peppers. So that's about a cup. We have tomato cut up. That's about a cup and a half. Definitely 2 cups probably of these green olives. Feta cheese. Broccoli, this is definitely 2 cups. And the same with the artichokes. Now my husband did a great video on how to cook artichokes, and you should tune into that. Now all I have here for seasoning is a little salt and a little pepper to taste. Okay guys, so I told you about the salt and pepper, and we're just going to do the salt and pepper to seasoning. Okay, so I'm using kosher salt right here, and I'm using ground black pepper, and I'm just going to season it to taste with the salt and pepper. That's it. Remember that you're going to need your favorite Greek dressing or your favorite vinaigrette. Remember when you use your bottled or canned artichokes to keep all of the juices with it, because you're going to use that in your pasta salad as well. And that will go for the red peppers and the olives. That's why you don't need much seasoning, because everything else carries the seasoning. So we're going to start adding everything in, and we're going to add the vegetables in first. So here are my artichokes. Now I use a lot of artichokes. And there's the juice. So I'm going to put in my olives now. And any juices that came out of the olive can.
All right, so what you got going on here, huh?
Well, so I'm doing this pasta salad and just putting everything into the bowl.
Okay.
So these are tomatoes. Right now these are vine ripe tomatoes I'm using, but you can use any kind of tomato.
All right, and tomatoes are in season, so make sure you get some good vine ripe tomatoes from the store.
And don't worry, people, I'm going to show you what everything looks like in the bowl.
All right.
So here are my roasted red peppers.
All right.
Is what you see with all of the different vegetables and fruit that we use within.
And what type of pasta are you using? Because that's the key to the salad.
So I'm using rotelli pasta, but you can use just about any kind of pasta you like. The rotelli I find goes best. It works best. Because you got to remember too, when you add, if you put everything in while it's hot, the pasta is going to swell more. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So just be sure that you let your pasta cool a little bit, because you don't want it to keep cooking.
So you kind of do your pasta at room temperature, a little warm, but at room temperature, not hot, because like you said, it's hot, it'll swell.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me tell you about the broccoli. Like I said previously, I normally just use the cucumber and black olives, things like that. I'm a little hesitant about because it's the first time using. But I'm going to put a little bit in here and see how it blends. And like I said, you know, when you make the pasta dish, you can put just about anything in it. Just about anything. I mean, I would even try some squash or zucchini and cut it up like cucumber. So here we go. We're putting it all together.
And one thing I would say, it's good to do improvisation in the kitchen. Be creative. If you don't have the certain products or ingredients that you'll normally use, in this case, my wife normally has some diced cucumber, but we don't have the cucumber available, so she's using broccoli. Keep it fun, keep it creative, even if you're not using the main type of things you're not used to using. And that what she has here is going to be very good, a different spin on it.
Okay, so next what we're going to do is get ready to put in our dressing. Like I said, depending on the amount of dressing, the amount of your salad, that's how much dressing you're going to use. So remember, you can season this, like you can add seasoning. Like I'm going to ask my husband to go get me some oregano.
Okay. All right, let me get doing that.
I wanted to wait to add my feta cheese. This is fresh, okay? And the reason I'm waiting to put this in last is because of the texture. It's very smooth, and since it's fresh, it's gonna melt a little bit. And I don't want the pasta salad to be covered with cheese. I just want the cheese to be throughout the salad, not to be on the salad.
Now that's an important step of blending everything together. She's putting some dried oregano in it right now, and merging all the flavors together, and then finishing it off with the feta cheese. Another thing that you can put in this salad that's a spice is crushed red pepper flakes to give them all spicy little zest to it. You can try it like that as well.
And he would love to put that in there, but I am not a spice girl. Seriously, okay. I can't do the spice. I don't like it hot. So the good thing about the pasta salad is that you can make it any way you like. Okay, I have a daughter who does not like tomatoes, so I can just put a little bit to the side and she can enjoy the pasta salad along with us.
One thing you have to remember, you don't cook for yourself, you cook for your audience and the people who are consuming. Know what people's dietary restrictions are or their likes or dislikes, so you can try to merge those in together so everybody can partake in the food process of dining, if you will.
Okay, people, so this is the best part.
This is the best part?
Put in the cheese.
Cheese. Now, you said this was feta. Was this feta out of a plastic container or was it in water?
It was. So this is fresh goat cheese. A container like this.
Okay.
The cheese inside water to keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm using.
I like that.
One thing I also want to tell my healthy people out there, pasta salad is high in carbs because of the pasta. Okay, so all of my diabetic friends out there and friends who are watching their carb intake, beware. This is the size serving of pasta salad that you can have, okay? So what you would do, like the culinary artists do, put your little bit in this cup, turn it over on your plate, and you have a nice little sack. So you don't have to worry about keeping this on your plate, on the side of your plate, or anything like that. Just put it on the plate, fill it up. And I think this is probably about, you think this is about a half a cup?
I would say it's probably about a half a cup, a little more, or equivalent to about 5 ounces.
Okay. And so that's what you want to make sure you do. Also, for my friends who have hypertension or they stay away from the salt, when you make your pasta salad, you can put half a bottle of your favorite dressing in, and then use a little bit less of the juices. You just want it to be a little moist. It doesn't have to be soaking wet. But remember that the artichoke juice and the red pepper and the olive juices all are saturated in salt and sodium. Okay, so be very careful with that. Okay?
One thing I would add is for you all who have hypertension, you may want to use a low sodium Italian vinaigrette or dressing. Those are available in the stores in salad dressing aisles. So look for low sodium products.
So we'll put all of those suggestions within the blog, within the video. We'll let you know all the things. We'll give you all the helpful hints and some suggestions on the type of fresh produce that you can use and all the different varieties. So thank you for watching, and thank you for welcoming me into Culinary Conversations.
And this has truly been you're so welcome. This has truly been a culinary conversation. Having the love of my life, my first guest, doing her well-known or family-known Mediterranean pasta salad, doing it a little different with a creativity, and then adding some fresh Alaskan salmon with the fresh oregano and the fresh thyme and the fresh lemon as the accompaniment. My God. Want to put a plug out to Giveon, a new artist that I believe is Eric, our oldest daughter, got us hip to and plugged us in on that. So have some fun in the kitchen, have some conversation, have some good food, have someone to cook with, have some good music. I'm about to take this plate and eat, but please hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, follow us.